The well-known story of Isha Hashunamis is recounted in Nach and Sefer Malachim and has a fascinating lesson in Avodas Hashem. We'll begin with a little bit of background. The story of Isha Hashunamis takes place during the reign of King Achav. He was the king of Aseres Hashvatim, the 10 tribes of Bnei Yisrael, and was known for his cruelty, which was superseded only by the cruelty of his wife Izebel. One of their main agendas was against the Nevi'im, who they targeted and hunted down. As a result, entire academies of Nevi'im and their students went into hiding. During this time, there was a Roman convert, a wealthy man by the name of Ovadia, whom some say was a Navi himself, who made it his mission to help out the Nevi'im in whatever way possible. He hid them in caves and then sustained them with oil, bread, wine, and whatever else they possibly needed. As the manhunt intensified and time passed, Ovadia ran out of money. He therefore borrowed a large sum of money from Prince Yehoram, who, as usual, demanded an unpayable level of interest. Tragically, Ovadia dies, and his widow is left penniless, unable to repay her husband's debt. At this time, the prince himself, Yehoram, comes to visit the widow and demands payment. Since she was unable to pay, he informs her that he will take her 2 sons as payment for the interest that she owes him and use them as his slaves. This is how the story of the Isha Hashunamis opens up in Navi. The widow runs to Elisha, the student of Eliyahu HaNavi, who is the Navi, the prophet of the time. And she cries out to him and she says, "Your servant, my husband, has died, and you know that your servant feared Hashem. However, the creditor has come to take my 2 children for himself as slaves." Elisha asks the widow, "What do you have in your house?" And she answers him, honestly, "Nothing. I have absolutely nothing. The only thing I have is a small cruse of oil." Mefarshim explained that this cruse of oil was actually a minuscule jug that women would wear on a rope around their necks as jewelry. It was really small, tiny. So Elisha tells the widow, "I want you to go to all your neighbors and borrow vessels that are rakim, that are empty. Al tamiti, do not spare. Bring all those empty vessels into your house and close the door and pour from your small cruse of oil into all those vessels." The widow follows Elisha's instructions, collects as many vessels as she was able to find and get from her neighbors, brings them to her house, shuts the door, and starts pouring from her tiny cruse of oil. At that moment, the miracle happened, and the oil continued to pour from her cruse until every single vessel was filled with oil. Rashi tells us that at that time, the price of oil skyrocketed, and this widow was able to sell all the oil at an extremely high profit. She was left with enough money to repay her debt, save her children from the life of slavery, and had enough oil and money left over to be able to live out the rest of her life. This is the story of Isha Hashunamis and the miracle of the oil. The Alter Rebbe, in a Maimer, explains that this story has a significant lesson in Avodas Hashem. The story starts off with the word Isha. Isha is made up of the words Eish, Aleph Shin, Eish, fire, and Hashem, and He, which represents the name of Hashem. This refers to our soul, our neshama, which has a godly fire in it. So the soul, the Isha, tza'aka, it yells, Elisha. The word Elisha is made up of the words Elisha, my God, turn. So the neshama starts off up in Shemayim, united with Hashem. It is one with him. And then the neshama is sent down into this world and is in a tremendous amount of pain. So she screams out, Eli, Shah, Hashem, turn to me, pay attention to me. And what does the neshama have to say to Hashem? Avdecha ishi meis. My husband, your servant, died. The part of me that yearns to serve you is gone. It's dead. And if that's not bad enough, I don't have the motivation to serve you because the creditor has come for my 2 sons. The Yetzer Hara wants to control the children of the neshama, which we know as ahava and yira, the love and the awe or fear that we have for Hashem. And he wants to make them his slaves and do his will. It's a terrible situation. The servant has died. Our yearning to serve Hashem is gone. And the love and the fear, the ahava and yira, are captives to the Yetzer Hara. So Elisha asks the widow, what do you have? What do you still possess? Hashem is asking us, what do you have? And the neshama looks around and answers simply and honestly, nothing. I have nothing left. All I have that's binding me to you is my small, tiny cruse of oil, my pintalayid, that spark inside of every neshama that will never be severed from Hashem. Oil is something that can only be acquired through squeezing. And that is why oil represents the essence of every yid. The essence that is left when everything else is stripped away. The neshama always has the essence, the spark of Hashem, the yechida, in it. So Hashem says, that's all you have? That's it? Perfect. Go and borrow empty vessels. Go do as many mitzvahs as you can. The neshama is honest and knows that she's not inspired. She knows that she does not have the right intentions. So she says, what's the point of performing mitzvahs if the ahava and the yira is not there? It's hypocritical. I feel empty, fake, and shallow. Hashem doesn't argue. He says, yes, all that's true. You don't have the right kavanas, and you're not doing things the way you ought to. So Hashem asks, what do you have left in the house? What do you have left inside of you? If it's only the yechida, your essence that ties you to me, then we're in business. The only way I can channel myself to help you now is if you collect empty vessels, if you give me empty mitzvahs, mitzvahs without feeling, goodness that you perform without caring, then I will take the essence of your soul and fill them all with that purity. The fire is always there. It's just been lying dormant the entire time. However, Hashem says, if you provide a vessel, any vessel, I will help you fill it. However, there is one condition. The vessel has to come from you. Along the same idea, a beautiful woman is called a yafas tayar and yafas maret in the Torah. The Gra explains that yafas tayar refers to external beauty, whereas yafas maret refers to internal beauty. A woman can be yafas tayar, externally beautiful, without being yafas maret, internally beautiful. So too with our mitzvahs. At times, we may be performing a mitzvah correctly externally, however, the kavanas and the feelings are absent. The Gra explains that even when a mitzvah is performed without feeling, it is still beautiful. It is still yafas tayar, even when it seems that it is just skin deep or superficial. Even when the yafas mara, the inner enjoyment and feeling of fulfilling a mitzvah is gone, the mitzvah is still yafas tayar. It is appealing and pleasing to Hashem. As women, we fulfill many roles. We wear many hats. We are wives, mothers, shluchas, leaders in our community, teachers, and we give our energy, our creativity, our passion, our intellect, and our patience to all those roles. And then we do it all over again. In any aspect of life, we inevitably feel like we could be doing things with a lot more depth, a lot more meaning. And sometimes when we are asked to give, there really is nothing left to give. There is no love, no energy, no humor, no compassion at all. And still, at that time, when we feel that we have nothing left to give, our job, our mission is to continue giving, even when it feels fake, even when it feels empty, because Hashem knows that that is all we have to give at that moment. And He promises us that specifically at that time, when we feel uninspired, Hashem will re-inspire us as long as we provide the empty vessels.